The purpose of completing the equipment setup is to verify where the receiver is in relation to the machine and implement being used. Anytime we're using a new machine and implement combination, or if we move the receiver and display, we want to make sure we first start out by doing a Tcm calibration. Once the Tcm calibration is completed, then we can go into the equipment setup, which is going to be going from the main menu into the GS2 or GS3. And then we're going to select the equipment tab on the right hand side. On the left hand side of our screen we can see machine type, model, and name will now appear. We want to make sure that we enter that information in correctly, and it'll also be there for the next time we put this receiver and display back in this machine. We also want to verify that our connection type is going to be representative of the implement that we're going to be hooking onto. If we make changes to the connection type, we'll see our diagram change to represent the option that we selected. Next, if we select the Change Offsets button, it'll bring us into a page that has a diagram of the machine type as well as a diagram of where measurements should be made. They also have description on the bottom that helps illustrate where the measurement should start and end. One thing to note that under the machine measurements, it's all going to be in inches, and it'll be different on the implement. We want to make sure that we have the correct units when we're making our measurements. We will also notice that measurement D is going to be the same number that was measured for the Tcm calibration. We can then hit accept, and we can now see that those measurements are now put in that picture diagram that's under the machine tab. Up on top we can now also see that there's an implement tab, and we'll have to follow the same procedure with entering in the implement type, model, and name. As the same with the machine, we now have a Change Offsets tab that we're going to press to change the measurements for the implement. We can now start taking measurements from the connection point that was measured to on the tractor back to the specific parts of the machine. We also want to note that these measurements are going to be taken in feet. To help illustrate those measurement locations, if we're measuring from the connection point back to point A on a planter, it's going to be at the front of the frame, and B measurement is going to be taken from the front of the frame to the point where it's being applied, in this case the seed tubes. Measurement D will be where the green arrow is, and that is the control point for the implement. The display will add the measurements between A and B to determine where that application point is, so it knows when to run swath control. We can then hit accept and then go into the Change Widths tab. Here we want to enter in the overall working width of the implement, where we can either enter it in feet, or if we hit the foot and rows button, we can enter it in by how many rows as well as the row width, and it'll do the calculations for us. After hitting accept, we can go verify that all the measurements are in fact correct and continue on with other setup procedures.